Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Sammy Robbins, for those of you who don't know, and today I'm gonna do a Q&A. Because I've been saying I'm gonna do this for the last 2 months and I haven't done it. So I'm getting all of these questions from my Instagram, which if you're not following my Instagram, it's at Sammy Robbins with an underscore, S-A-M-M-I, not Y. Okay, so the first question is from Reedy. I think that's how you say it. And Reedy asked, how do you begin a relationship with God? I think the first thing is just acknowledging him and inviting him in. I don't think that there's anything lavish you need to do or anything you need to reach for outside of you or God besides him. It's just engaging God and talking to him. I know when I was 15 years old, I did it when I was a kid too, but I just invited the Holy Spirit to come in and live inside of me. It just was like, God, will you forgive me for anything that I've done that goes against you? Like, I want relationship with you. Would you come and fill me and make your home in me? And that was the start of a ton of transformation for me, because I was no longer reaching outside of me for God. I actually had access to God inside of me. So I would just start with talking with him and engaging with him. And what I noticed for me is I started desiring to go to church. I started desiring community. I started desiring to seek out help. I started desiring to go after things to actually lean into freedom. But I think a lot of that was God moving me and leading me. But the great first step, I think, is just inviting him to come and make his home inside of you. Okay, this is a question from Ellis Onley. She said, did either of you, I'm guessing me and Spencer, did either of you have to convince the other to seek connection and trauma work? In the very beginning, when Spence and I were just friends before we even started dating, we had been interested in each other and we were kind of exploring dating, but I was terrified. So I would let him know, I'm afraid of even considering this because I don't want to ruin our relationship. And at one point, Spencer was like, I'm not saying I want to marry you. He's like, I just want to date you. I want to get to know you. And he's like, I don't even know if I want to be with you in the first place. He's like, it's a huge red flag to me that you don't have anyone in your life who's bigger than you. It's a huge red flag that you don't have any leadership. And the second he said it, I was like, oh, I felt so called out, because he was right. I had been seeking a lot of help and growth for 6 years leading up to knowing him, and had gotten a lot of freedom, but he was right. I didn't have anyone in my life that I was trusting their leadership, and anyone that I was really learning from outside of pastors from pulpits. So he challenged me in that, and I automatically started getting counseling and coaching right after that. But since then, it's pretty much been a culture in our marriage where both of us individually have a huge desire for growth. It's a core value for both of us. And I've adopted his core value of always having leadership. I naturally didn't trust leaders before, because any parent and leader in my life had broken a lot of trust in my personal experience. And so it wasn't a core value to have leadership before outside of Jesus, but it's a core value of mine now. So now we both just constantly are learning and growing and receiving leadership. And I don't think either one of us are ever willing to not have that, unless the Lord told us to stop. That would be the only reason why we would stop, is if God asked us to. So that's just the culture for us. Ooh, this is a good one. How do you process through church hurt? Sarah Salazar asked. I myself have definitely had a bit of church hurt, and Spencer has too. And it's a really, I don't want to say it's a really long healing process, but I think there's different stages to it and layers. And I think the first stage of healing is always grief. So mourning the pain, mourning what that person couldn't be for you, because your desire to have that leadership and guidance is really valid. And we hope that the church can be a representation of Jesus to us. My dog's trying to play with her toy right now. It's gonna be so loud on the video, I know it. She's like, but my toy. I want my toy though. So I think grieving is always the first stage, but then recognizing, actually, like, if I am really hurt by the church or this person, I probably had them in a spot in my heart that they shouldn't have been. If you boil it all down, your pain is valid. We hope that the church can be something for us. But the reality is there's still a bunch of broken people. There's still a bunch of people that are not God. God is the only person in our life who won't fail us and won't disappoint us. And it's because he's the only one who's perfect. So the reality is that people should have permission to fail you and hurt you and let you down. It means you still have to heal. But after grieving, it's recognizing, oh, I actually had this pastor or this leader or this group of people in a place in my heart that they probably shouldn't have been. Because if you look through the Bible, every single person failed and had shortcomings. Most of the main people in the Bible had massive shortcomings and destroyed and obliterated their life in different ways. And so I think the Bible has proven that humans are messy, and it points to how much we need God. So grieving. And another thing that I did after I had church hurt, because I noticed I felt a lot of bitterness and resentment towards the whole church after I had a bad experience with one leader. And one thing that I did was I did this with a counselor, but he had me close my eyes and see that pastor in front of me. And then I out loud said everything that I needed to say to that person as if they were in front of me. Because I noticed for me, a lot of the pain that I had came from feeling voiceless and powerless with a leader. Because every time I had tried to talk in this interaction, the leader spoke over me and cut me off over and over and over and over again. And at the end of the conversation, they were like, "No, I want to check on you. How's your heart?" After they just bulldozed me for a half hour. And I just was like, it doesn't sound like this is a two-way conversation, so I don't have anything to say. And we pretty much wrapped up the conversation, but for a year after that, I realized, oh, because I didn't say what I needed to say, because I didn't make it happen, I actually felt voiceless to this person. So in closing my eyes and saying everything I needed to say, even in my mind, it was a way that I got my voice and my power back. And that actually helped me release a lot of the bitterness that I had, because the bitterness wasn't even necessarily towards that person. It was towards me for giving up my voice. There are a lot of different exercises and techniques of helping you process pain. And I recommend to you, if you don't know how to do that, or if you don't have someone who can lead you through that, find a counselor, find a coaching program, look into our coaching program, reach out to someone that you know that knows how to do inner healing work, and make it happen. I promise it's worth it. Like, my bitterness that I had weighed me down for so long, but doing the work and investing in getting help to get liberated has brought so much freedom into my life. I don't carry around church pain anymore, but I did for years. Ooh, I'm coming to Maui next month. What's some local recommendations? There's actually this thing in Maui where, like, we don't post about where we're at, or restaurants are different, but like hikes and things like that, a lot of locals and people who live here don't post about it because we want things to stay sacred and private. And if a bunch of people know about different things, then now they're really sweet, like, sacred spots that aren't filled with tourists get monopolized. And so I won't be sharing like the hidden spots. Just as a reference point, I actually got a ton of questions for people asking me to take them on hikes and asking me where the best places to go are. I will only share about food places unless it's like a big open public beach. So McKenna Beach, also known as Big Beach, is an epic, beautiful beach. It's like on Kihei side. It is beautiful and incredible. If you like watching surfers and windsurfers and kite surfers, going to Ho'okipa is an amazing thing to do. There's like fruit stands you can pull up, you can watch huge swells come in and kite surfers, and that's amazing. One of our favorite places to go is Monkey Pod in Lahaina. They have the best Mai Tais you have ever had. What is another place? Coconut's Fish Cafe have the best tacos you've ever had. It's like a mixture of mahi and ono, and they are delicious. And last one is Ululani's. It's shave ice. The best shave ice you've ever had. I get macadamia nut ice cream on the inside and coconut syrup on top, and it is the bomb. So those would probably be my top recommendations. Someone asked, do you ever work with women that are walking through an unwanted divorce? Yes. So we mostly work with single women, but we actually have a lot of women who are engaged, married, or divorced, or have never been in a relationship. We don't specifically help you walk through the healing process of divorce, but if you bring a question to one of our coaching calls pertaining to the pain that you're walking through, we will walk you through that. So our course is really geared towards healing in general and how to get healing, and it's very, very, very applicable to divorce, but I wouldn't say it's what we specialize in or focus on, but it definitely does the job. And it does it very thoroughly, especially if you're walking through that kind of pain. But also, I'm sorry. You said it's an unwanted divorce, and I feel so much compassion for you. I can't imagine what you are going through right now. And I think it'd be amazing for you to get plugged into our community and be surrounded by women so that you're not going through this alone. And I hope you have people in your life that are walking with you right now too for the pain that you're going through. My heart goes out to you. That's all I'm gonna get to today though. I hope that this was helpful for some of you. If it was, throw it in the comments. If you have more questions, throw those in the comments and I would be happy to answer those. But I hope you guys have an amazing weekend and an amazing week, and I love you so much. Thanks for watching.